Welcome to Doushio Cast.
Sounds so
Hey
goddamn
guys.
excited.
Whoa.
Alright, I'll say it better. Welcome to Doushio Cast.
That was a lot more enthusiastic.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Awesome. Alright, so hello everybody. We have pretty awesome things packed into this episode. So first off, we are going to be explaining how we are going to be giving each other force watches, which is basically we each pick a show from the season that we like and then force each other to watch that show every week, and then every week we're going to talk about the newest episode. So basically to be able to have a set list of shows that we're going to be talking about every week, and so you can follow along with us, and it'd be great. Second, we are going to be talking about how Adult Swim has a big announcement, and how it's going to be awesome.
boy.
And then Dom is going to talk about PAX East that he went to this past weekend. So, alright, so, but first off, what has everybody been watching for the past week?
Anime.
Nothing.
Blade and Soul.
Shut
Can we just
up,
talk about how
Calvin.
bad Blade and Soul is? I just want to talk about how bad Blade and Soul was.
Hey, Calvin.
As long as we're
That's-
talking about how bad it is.
Calvin, did you know that show is awful?
What?
No, I had no idea.
Yes. No,
I think this is
I
news
just
to us.
realized it just now in this moment. I'm euphoric because I realized Blade and Soul is one of the worst things I've ever seen. That dance. Can we talk about that dance? For anybody that saw Blade and Soul episode 2.
Episode 2.
There's a scene where
They decided to do more than one episode.
yes.
Yeah,
What?
I still haven't been able to finish
Yes.
the first episode.
The first
gonna be
episode is
12.
terrible. Yes, it's after watching Sokka die.
R.I.P.
We
Sokka.
move on from that, and she goes to a new town where she wants to be silent and brooding there as well, and so she goes there and she's like, not talking while everybody else realizes that she's part of like some butterfly pact or something, and so everybody starts following her, and this one girl takes her to a bar to go drink and watch a dance show, and that dance performance scene was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's this dancer in the middle of the two 2D drawn characters, the main character and some random girl.
I saw that.
Yeah, and they're both 2D, and in the middle is this terribly CG'd dancing lady, just dancing in between them and trying to sing this song. And it's not like, some shows where you can see that, for this scene they really do need some CGI because they don't have the budget to animate this kind of movement, but they don't try and make it that obvious. For that, it was just in my face with how offensive this could be. Like, absolutely. David, you're with me on this, like, right?
I mean, sure. I wasn't very angry at it because that's just how a TV anime goes these days,
These days.
These days. Most studios don't have the money to animate a proper dance.
I agree.
You're gonna
I've
get
noticed
CG. It
CGI.
happens.
I mean,
I've noticed
that
CGI and
happens.
like all the good animes this season. There's been CGI in one place or another.
I feel like I would be less mad if it was just some like faceless, like non-detailed dancer in the background just kind of wiggling a little bit, versus them trying to make it like a focal point. Because I did see like a screen cap of that scene, but it just looked like they were trying really hard to make it this like weirdly detailed focal point, and
It was a single person, right?
yeah,
It was the owner of the
Mhm.
bar. She's
What?
an important
Are
character.
you kidding me?
It wasn't like a group
Yes.
dance or
So
anything.
it's like an actual character.
Once again, that's not unusual.
But I'm not opposed. That's not what I'm opposed to. What I'm opposed to is the fact that they did it so blatantly in between the 2D characters. Whereas, like,
yeah.
I remember with Dog Days, they had the scene where she goes and they had the big dance number towards like the end of season 1, and she's fully CG'd and the audience is like 2D. And they shift. They'll show her in CG and stuff, and they'll show other things, and they'll show the audience. And I don't feel as turned off. I'm more used. That's normal. I'm used to that. But don't like try and mix the two together, because then you get like episode 1 of Girls and Panzer.
Well, I mean, they made it
Mhm.
like that whole scene was like it's like Miku kind of, where she's CG on a stage and doing
Right.
whatever.
Mm.
And all of the Supersonico EDs, everything was CG'd.
Well,
Yeah.
when everything is CG, it's not even comparable.
Yeah, because the final episode of Supersonico, they did do that a lot, where they mixed CG and animated, but it wasn't like it was in this episode of, it was like you said before, Calvin, where they cut from one thing to the other. It wasn't this in front of that, so it made it more of like a stark contrast,
Yeah.
So
That's more what I'm angry about.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's all sorts of other things. Oh man, let's just teleport to a bland desert. How did we get here? Fuck you.
They jumped really far. Pretty sure that's what occurred.
Just jump.
But it's hard to keep track of because it happened so fast.
They're
Did they
like
just
Kenyans.
DBZ it?
Basically. That was the part of the episode I didn't like.
One anime I watched yesterday was Haikyuu, and it was really good.
Oh yeah, I
I
watched
liked
that
it.
too. It was pretty good.
It's like the way they're introducing the characters into the club is like something that I haven't really seen before, although it's probably more common than I think.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they threw in some unique animation at one part just to make everyone like flip their lids.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Oh, I reblogged that GIF, that animated part that you're talking about. I reblogged that on the Doushio cast Tumblr.
Oh yeah, that jump serve was
That's so good.
ridiculous.
Man. Gosh, I like how the gosh, I forgot his name, the black-haired guy. His
Yeah.
face is so far down on his face.
The king of the court.
His face
Like-
is so far down on
That's
his
just the
face.
style.
No, I mean, I think it's specifically
It's just
like
his
for that
chin.
character though.
I think it's
Yeah,
just his chin.
it's his face is like on his chin because I think, I mean, obviously it's like to have emphasis that he's like pissed off all the time.
Angry. Angry
Yeah,
all the time.
exactly.
He's
But
kinda
I
like
think that's I don't know,
Kaiba.
that's
I like the depth of character in even the senpais and the side characters.
oh yeah, definitely.
Like the one guy who closed the door on them with his face was
That was hilarious. There were so
Oh, that
many
was
good
so good.
reaction
His
faces in that episode.
expressions. Yeah. I
yeah,
know.
everyone's expression has been like very, very interesting.
I like how the only girl that we've seen so far in this whole show looks like a boy.
That's how
Really?
these shows go.
Wait.
Because
Yeah.
She didn't look like a guy at all to me.
I don't know.
Well, she's not the most feminine character.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Kuroko, where the only female characters are like the managers,
She
Exactly.
just
so that they don't get in the
sour.
way of the
That's-
guys
But
interacting.
But they're playing up her like quote unquote femininity a lot more than the manager of Kuroko.
Yeah, that's true.
So
hmm
She's
I
also
mean-
probably less angry
yeah,
than the manager in
and
Kuroko.
mainly.
I like the senpai who's. I once again, I'm also bad with all the names. I like the leader because no one listens to him at all. Like, or at least the two
Hey,
newbies don't
you
listen to him at all.
guys.
We need to
should
listen, guys.
stop.
Listen to me. Listen to me. And they just don't. They just keep talking and yelling and screaming. And I kept expecting for him to kind of like let them kind of push him around. And then he just turns around and he's like, "No, you guys are actually out of the club unless you learn how to be."
Well, that's what's so great
Teammates.
about it.
I know it's great. I
Like
love
when
it.
they first come in, he's like, "Don't bully the new kids" to his friends who are in the club. But then by the end of their
And he
encounter,
like immediately starts doing
he
that.
put on his like Yakuza face and was like, "Get out of here."
I want to see somebody try to make that Yakuza face in real life and just how like hilarious it must be. Because I can't imagine that actually being threatening in any way, shape, or form. Like
Yeah, it looks like he's constipated or something.
so yeah. A show that I've been watching this past week is actually Waiting in the Summer, or Ananatsu, and I only have 2 episodes left, and I have to say that for a 12-episode show, it's really, really good. And I'm glad that I started watching it randomly on a whim. So,
It helps that it's
But-
not an adaptation of anything, so it can just end.
exactly.
There's an OVA coming out for that soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Man,
Don't know what it could possibly do, because it ends pretty, like, definitively, so.
yeah. It might just be one of those things kind of
I
like...
feel like that's an anime I really missed out on.
Yeah. Well, don't spoil the end. But, like, it might be something
you.
kind of like High School of the Dead, where it's like a in-betweeny, like, weird, no specific point in time kind of OVA,
That'd be fun.
you know? So,
Just them interacting.
yeah, exactly. Because that was, like, the best part. But I think that a reason that I really like it is because I really, really love the animation and everything in Toradora. I know it's not, like, crazy, good animation or anything like that, but the character designs and the way that they do things with this, animation studio and everything like that, like, I don't know, I really like it.
It's
So,
cute.
I think that, yeah, definitely, it's cute, but, they do the serious scenes really well, and so, I don't know. But yeah, so, I mean, I definitely think that it being from that studio is just helping a ton, and every time that I see them do, like, a close-up side face shot, I get, like, nostalgia vibes, feeling like I'm watching Toradora again. So, I
Hashtag
don't know.
nostalgia vibes.
Same staff
yeah.
and such.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically the same show.
Yeah, and the character designs are really great too. It's like they're generic, like they're anime characters, but I feel like each of them have really unique characteristics to them. Again, like the characters in Toradora, I feel like this, character designer, he's really good at making characters look simple, but distinguishable from the millions of other anime characters,
Because they have personality.
Exactly. So. But yeah, so I'm excited to finish that. Anything else?
Nope,
Nope.
not for me.
Oh,
I've been
no.
catching up on the world God only knows.
Oh yeah?
Because the last chapter is coming out soon.
Oh yeah, God, I gotta do that
Non-anime
too.
related.
That's still
So-
going.
It's ending. Listen to my words. It's ending in like a week or something like that.
Oh,
It's ending very soon. That's why I'm catching up, because I stopped reading when the latest arc started, but apparently the latest arc is also the last one. So
It wasn't like foreshadowed at all.
Yeah.
So it's probably just not doing that well in sales.
that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
But
That's
it has been an enjoyable series. So, like all that I've watched, I've loved it.
I have a feeling I wouldn't have liked this arc very much reading it week to week, but marathoning it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was difficult at times to enjoy it, but
Speaking of manga, no One Piece this week. You're welcome.
so disappointed.
And then I don't think is Golden Week next week.
Is Golden
No.
Week next week?
I think
No.
I think it might
Hope
be.
not.
So no manga at all.
Ugh. Golden Week is like the bane of my existence.
As an American, I hate all
Does that
Japanese
affect
holidays.
anime too? Or just manga?
Rarely.
Really? Okay.
The thing that affects anime is sports.
Yeah, sports always affect anime.
Baseball
Oh,
fucks
yeah.
everything up.
Which, I mean, has been...
Sports and Christmas and New Year's. Around Christmas and New Year's, nothing comes out at all, and it's the most boring part of the year.
hmm I was just reading
Just have to eat our
Genshiken
fried
manga,
chicken in
and
silence.
Madarame was complaining about that. No anime. Also, look forward to this summer with the Soccer World Cup. We might
Yeah.
get some interruptions too.
Can't wait for all my anime to get canceled every fucking week.
I need to go buy my Vuvuzela.
But David, you have so much time. So much time
To do
real
what?
life
Sit around
things.
and wish something else would come out? That's all I did over Christmas this year.
Wow.
I had to
Wait,
watch, like, Sherlock to pass the
You're
time.
in Christmas. Spend time with your goddamn
So
family.
Christmas lasted like a few hours, and then I'm back
Christmas
home.
is like
And I spent the rest of my Christmas watching Sherlock.
Spend
Yeah.
time with your goddamn family.
I spend time with my family every day, Don.
You're not doing it right now.
Well, yeah.
It's
It's because I'm doing this.
Gotcha.
Unless they're listening to this podcast, in which case, hi, David's family.
He's
How
literally
are you?
holding all of their hands right now. So, on to our first big chunk of the podcast. Alright, so like I said before, we are each picking a show that all the rest of us have to watch this season week by week, and it'll just make it easier to keep on a kind of concise schedule about specifically which shows we're watching. So I'll start off, and my show is Gochimon, or Is the Order a Rabbit? And I think that this is the fucking best moe anime of this season. And I am, like, absolutely in love with it, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So, also, I think that we should just say this. Spoilers ahead for anybody who hasn't watched the first episodes of any of these shows. So, yeah. But yeah, Gochimon.
I haven't watched it.
What exactly is the plot of that, like, going forward? Do you know?
So, like, past the first episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, I think that it's basically just going to be something, because I don't think it's based on anything. I might be wrong, David.
I mean, you'd have to look it up. I can't do that
Okay.
right now, so. Actually, I can. Give me a second. Keep talking.
Can we
Okay.
pause the podcast?
Either way.
I gotta go watch
No.
No. What? Shut up.
What?
You
I
should
thought
do
he was
this
being serious
it.
for a
beforehand.
second.
No. Jokes.
But yeah, so basically, for anybody who hasn't seen the first episode and doesn't really care about spoilers,
It's a manga.
it is a manga?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I
I don't think anyone's translated
Yeah.
it, though.
Oh, well then great. But so basically, this girl moves for some reason. I can't remember why.
They
I don't
didn't
even
say
know what
why.
She says. Does she just not say?
That,
Moves-
she's just moving there because she's working there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So she's just moving into this place, and she's trying to find it, and then she walks into this cafe that's called the Rabbit Cafe, and she's like, oh my god, I want to pet rabbits, which would be my response if I saw a rabbit cafe in Japan, or wherever she's supposed to be. And, you know,
For
so
some
she
reason, I
walks
doubt
in.
that she's in Japan.
Well,
The architecture
maybe
of
it's,
everything,
like,
you know.
historical.
No,
names.
she's in Germany.
It's like a westernized, like, you know, like in Disney World where there's like different
What?
building and stuff, and you know.
Disney World. All right.
She
She's
lives in, like,
she lives in
a
Disney
western
World.
theme park.
She lives in Disney World.
Anyway, so you know, basically she walks in, talks to this girl, the girl has like a rabbit, and blah blah. That's the only rabbit, and then she finds out like, oh my gosh, this is actually the place that I'm living in. Ah, you know. So, and then hilarity ensues, and there's a girl with a gun.
There's only one rabbit?
Yeah, there's only one rabbit.
That's it?
Yeah.
I was under the impression that the girls were rabbits until I watched the show.
Yeah, exactly. No, they talk about this, and she's just like, if you don't have a lot of rabbits, why is it called Rabbit Cafe? And they're just like, because Tippy's a rabbit, and he's our mascot.
Tippy.
Yeah,
I can only assume they're gonna get more rabbits.
I really doubt it.
But
No, wasn't the rabbit, like, at the end, it was
No.
revealed that it was the grandfather had gotten transported into a rabbit?
The fuck?
Yeah, it's basically servant service.
yeah, if anybody's
oh, yeah,
watched Servant Service,
It is.
yeah.
Servant service.
But basically, so the rabbit doesn't actually look like a rabbit; it looks like a cat marshmallow
But more
thing.
moe.
It looks like a
Yeah, but
marshmallow
more
cat that they always have in anime.
It's a
It
mar-
looks like
And-
the
But it's a
marshmallow
rabbit
cat
because
from
they say so.
Tamayura.
What is this
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, like
It's
Tommy
great.
exactly.
And so, you know, at one point she really wants to pet this rabbit, so, you know, they go through this huge thing, and then she finally gets to pet the rabbit, but she's doing it too hard, and the rabbit goes, no! In, like, this manly voice, and then, like, and then tells her, like, oh, girl, stop hugging me, and she's just like, I just got rejected by this rabbit in a man's voice. And the girl, like, covers it up and says, like, no, I was just doing, like, ventriloquism. And so...
And now they don't
Giving
even
you
have to
a
watch the show.
play-by-play of the entire episode.
Yes, but no,
Apparently.
well, Dom hasn't seen it either, because he isn't in the loop, and
Well, then
isn't doing
don't
what we're
play by
supposed to
play
do.
it. I'll watch
but-
it later. You're gonna make me watch it anyway.
Exactly.
Then
So,
no, whatever.
well, anyway.
Oh.
So,
You're
so
making me
basically,
look forward to watching this.
yes, exactly, because it's great. Because the parts that I'm telling you are the best parts of the show. Because without those parts, without the man rabbit, like, and the
man
girl with the
rabbit.
gun, this show would be terrible.
So wait, does the rabbit actually?
I think you would
speak?
still like this show.
Yeah, the show's still got a lot of really good, unique qualities to it. Like, the characters still have interesting things that they do with their day that don't always have to do with the fact that the girl has a gun, or the fact that the grandfather's, like, a rabbit. Like,
Yeah.
they do enough very different things
Mhm.
that the characters are all fun on their own.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
definitely,
the dad comes out to work with the bar and everything. He's fun.
Oh, yeah,
I can't wait
that's
to see
great.
more of the dad.
I definitely like the fact that the black-haired girl isn't your typical, like, tsundere, you know, oh, it's not like I wanted to work with you anyway, babaka, or anything like that. You know, she's like, you look at her and you're like, God, fucking another, you know, tsundere black-haired girl character. This is terrible. But she's actually, like, ridiculous in like the best of ways. And I don't really get like too much of a tsundere vibe from her, so it's
She's
kind
not
of
a tsundere at all.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
That,
so
that isn't to say she's not generic as shit,
no,
because she is.
well, yeah,
She's like a carbon copy of a girl from Kinniru Mosaic a few seasons ago. Down to, I think, her voice actress, even.
oh
It's
really?
really, really sad.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, when you first see her, you think that that's, you know, what her character type is going to be,
Yeah, because she's got twin tails.
and a gun.
Well, the gun is a whole other ridiculous thing that
That's a
shouldn't have
whole
been
other
in the
genre.
show. But
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know, I definitely thought that.
yeah, I was
But-
right. She's voiced by the same girl. This is ridiculous. Like,
Really?
literally
Maybe
the
that's
same character.
The only kind of character she can do.
Hmm.
So I mean, but yeah, like Kevin said, you know, even if you took those parts out, it would still be a good show. But it just kind of brings it like over that edge into something that's actually like kind of memorable for a Moe Blob show, you know. But I mean, it's only the first episode, so I don't know.
Also, I like the main character, the main girl that goes to the cafe. Her name is Hoto Coco.
It's her. It's her.
Her name is
Hoto
Hot
Coco.
Hot Coco, and
Hoto
the other
Coco.
girl's name is Kafu Chino.
Yeah.
Wow, seriously.
Like,
What
this show is ridiculous with the names.
But the other girl is Lise, but it's only the voice actress's name.
Yeah, it's
Change
really
the
close.
S to
They
the
just
Z.
changed the Z to an S, or an S to a Z rather.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
What?
I'm just freaking out over how little this voice actress can do.
She can literally only be embarrassed about being too manly.
She was
That's
also
all
the
she
main
can do.
character of Kyoko no Kanata.
Yeah?
Same character.
But
Replace a gun with a sword.
Can't wait to watch Gucci-mon.
it's so great. So Ben, you wanted to talk about Kawaiso?
Yeah, thanks for giving it away. I want you
Giving
guys
it
to
away.
watch.
What the fuck was that response? Just,
I want
thanks
you
for giving
guys
it
to
away,
watch. I was gonna
guys.
do like drum roll and everything.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you want to watch?
Bokura wa Mina Kawaiso. I think it's a pretty awesome anime, and it shouldn't be missed this season. It's about a guy moving into a boarding house for school, and he's got like a cute upperclassman living there. But also, it's about everyone else that lives there. He has a weird like neighbor / roommate who's like in college or something, and he's like kind of creepy and kind of masochist or a sadist, one of those. And there's a lot of the older women there, that like the woman who runs the place and some of the other like working girls that live there, that are very interesting characters and a lot of fun to get to know.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this show.
It's like slice of life, and it's slightly school based, but they're not in school for
No,
most
that's
of the
and from my opinion, that's the only reason the show stands out at all, is because the people he's living with aren't a bunch of high schoolers. There's one other high schooler,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's literally the only thing I could find that like distinguishes this show. But it might be worth checking out just because of that, if you like slice of life.
Definitely. And I mean, I feel like the main girl who's, the like really quiet, shy.
Kwai
Why?
Shite.
kawaii.
Kwai
I mean,
Shite.
her name is Kawaiso, right?
Her name is
Yeah.
Kawaii. Kawaiso is the name of the boarding place.
Yeah. But
Oh,
Is she kawaii?
wow.
she's super kawaii.
She's kawaii.
So she's
Kawaii.
so she's
Yeah,
super
no,
duper
she's
scary.
super scary.
She's
Yeah.
super scary.
No, that's Kawaii.
kawaii.
Kawaii. She's also that because she, beats the shit out of people. So
But they toned that down this week. It was good.
yeah, I
I
think
was
she's
so
getting
happy.
a little bit more like civil.
I think they just need to establish
So
things.
2
and
episodes in.
Calvin's being ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
2
they've
episodes in.
normalized everybody, and that's what I really like, is that everybody has their quirks, and it hasn't gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't really ridiculous in episode 2, and it let the characters kind of interact with each other in a way where it's not just them doing, oh, here's like slapstick humor for the sake of slapstick humor. They'd be having real conversations and be having fun doing just like whatever the hell they were doing. Like they were making the bubbles.
The
That was
bubble
fun.
scene was amazing.
Yeah, like the characters interacting with each other is a lot of fun, and even when one of them does get hurt, it was done in a way that didn't actually bug me too much, because it would ease into them getting hurt, not just be immediately I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. It was, oh man, he's dead. Oh, it's going over any moment now. Oh, bam, boom goes the dynamite.
So it seemed like normal life instead of like certain special segments of a otherwise boring existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the great one recommended by me.
Well, real quick, I think that
Yeah.
the part of the second episode that I liked the most was just because I really like terrible jokes and puns. When the main character, she was laughing at all those terrible like art and history and everything related jokes.
Oh, that was so great.
It was so fucking adorable.
Yeah, it
Like,
was after
Yeah,
the bubble
it was.
scene, and it's just the girl Kawaii interacting with the main protagonist
Yeah.
and actually starting to like him a little bit instead of she was like hating him completely.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I definitely like that part, because whenever you like relate to something in a character, it makes that character, like if you see something in yourself in a character, it makes that character even more realistic, And
I always like seeing the moe girl, or like the quite cute, quiet literary girl, like have someone crack the wall of her so she
when
like,
she
starts
he
interacting.
he's like, oh, we were just talking about like art history, and she punches him. I don't know. I thought that was like, but it wasn't like a ridiculous like anime punch, I don't
was
know.
like
It was
a embarrassed punch.
yeah, exactly. It was great. I definitely like that.
So, Calvin, what do you want us to watch?
Okay, so I brought this up last week because it was my favorite, and I've just decided that this is the show that I just want everybody to watch here. It's called Ishukon Friends. It means 1 week friends. It's that show. Basically, she loses her memory every week of the people that are close to her that aren't immediate family. If they're just like friends and everything, she forgets them and can't remember any interactions that she had with them for that entire week. And the main character just wants to be friends with her, so every week he starts over basically from square one. And the first episode was really adorable. That's what kind of drew me in. I was like, oh, I like all these pastel colors and adorableness. And then by episode two, it starts up and it actually they're very direct. They don't waste any of my time with, oh man, let's have the main character have to deal with her losing her memory and then have him kind of do a few more silly actions over and over with her again. They take immediate steps to make sure that she has a way of remembering him and that it doesn't have to basically start from square one every single week. Like they don't just say, "Oh man, you may not remember me, but we were friends once, so let's try it over again." He says, "Why don't you just try and make a journal? Why don't you write things down?" And the girl is very accepting of this. She's like, "That's actually a great idea. I haven't really tried these kinds of things before." And so it leads to a really really good scene. One of my favorite scenes of episode 2, where she has the journal and she's looking through it and she's really enjoying hearing about all these little stories and things that she did with the main character over the previous week. And he comes up to the rooftop to come talk to her, and she mentions one of the things they did from the previous week, and he thinks that she got part of her memory back, which makes him really happy. And so he's excited that he's finally someone in her life who isn't going to be forgotten every single week. And there's a lot of body language in there where you see her hands are shaking because she doesn't actually remember. She was just reading the journal and she didn't want to disappoint him now that he's this happy. And she doesn't want to disappoint him, and her hands are shaking and her voice is like cracking a bit, and she tries to play it off like it's nothing, but then the main character realizes. He picks up on body language, which is another thing I love in anime, when they don't just have to have things explicitly told to them like I've had to deal with in some shows. They don't bullshit. He says, "Oh, you actually don't look all right. You look like you're shaking and it looks like you're trying too hard. Don't push yourself to try and remember me. I'll still be your friend come Monday." So it's a really good show that's very direct. They have it continuing to move forward, and we're only at episode 2 right now, so I'm very interested to see where it goes. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, by you talking about how, with the body language and him actually responding to her, that, I hate to say it, but that's actually like a huge thing for anime, where the guy is actually not oblivious, and is actually like, wow, you're like tearing up and shaking and like your voice is trembling. Oh no, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
Alright, whatever you say,
It wasn't like they're about to confess or whatever.
Exactly, and it's just like,
That
what?
trope is kind
I
of
didn't
annoying.
hear that one word.
Yeah, and I hate that trope, so it's really good that this show kind of handles that.
Oh, now you're thinking about that, you're thinking about, na na na.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Jeez,
But yeah, I'm not sure about Ishikon Friends, but if Calvin's so passionate, I'll give it my time.
yeah, exactly. I watched like a little bit of it, and I was just like, this looks pretty generic. But then, actually hearing people talk about it, it definitely sounds like it would be good. So
Yeah, I mean, I figure that a lot of people are, from what I've seen and heard when I talk to people, it's like the show kind of is slow. It kind of doesn't, not a lot happens, which is where I see where they're coming from, and I see where you guys have been coming from when you've talked about it. And it's funny that I feel like the show moves really fast in the way that it kind of handles things pretty slowly. He slowly introduces really forward-moving ideas. So it is sort of a slow show, but he handles it in a way that it's going to progress the plot and the story much quicker than a lot of other shows that I feel go about this route. Like, I don't know other shows that have had. I've seen a couple shows that have had amnesia, and they have never been this speedy to try and find a way for the character that has amnesia to remember everybody. So this was really fun for me.
I haven't watched episode 2 yet, but on my second watch of episode 1, I found the show really cute.
That's good.
I don't
The
know. I feel like
animation is
maybe I
really
was distracted
adorable.
by trying to like make sure I understood what was going on the first time I watched the show. The second time though, the second time I watched the show, it's like, oh, like all these little things I didn't notice the first time, like specifically like the way he would like interact with her physically, the way everyone would interact with each other physically.
Yes.
Like there was a good amount of detail put into that anime doesn't usually have. So
Like him with his friend that is
at
always
the
in the
Riverside?
classroom and like sees him.
Yeah, totally.
Their interactions as friends is a lot of fun to watch. He's just like he walks into the classroom, he's like, sigh. And his friend's like, I'm not dealing with you. But he doesn't say that because no, you don't have to be direct. The guy just like keeps his head on the desk and still tries to ignore his friend, and so his friend just gives out a louder sigh. He's like, oh, come on. And so he's like, all right, I'll bite. What's wrong? So it's fun to watch interactions like those. But I mean, enough about my show. I really enjoy it, and I hope others do too. But Dom, what show are you basically having us all watch?
I want you all to watch No Game, No Life.
Woo.
Woo! Fireworks. Anyway, No Game, No Life follows two siblings that are basically neats, and they just never leave their square cubicle room.
Would you like to explain what a
And-
need is?
A neat is someone who just...
Shut in.
What?
It's a shut in who
Yeah,
stays in the
there
room
you
all the
go.
time.
They just basically stay inside all the time and never leave their room. And they just eat, like, I guess, instant food or shit that'll I guess it's like just it's just like a necessity. And then they just play games or whatever all day, do nerdy things, watch anime. So, David, I guess.
Well, that's like the version of No Game No Life portrays a very idealized version of a NEET. You know, NEETs in real life are more like Welcome to the NHK,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
their
I
lives are
don't-
sad and they don't actually do anything.
I don't understand how they could afford all the expensive monitors.
exactly,
and
that's what I
this
mean.
shit
It's
in the
all
first
idealized.
Well, no.
episode.
Usually when people ask like needs and things like how okay, for example, in Princess Jellyfish, the guy specifically asks all the girls where they get all their money, and it's
It's
from
from
their
their
parents.
parents.
So I mean, in a world where in Japan, where people are, it's like white collar jobs are a huge thing, and supporting your, 20-some-year-old and like teenage, daughters or however old they are, like it's kind of like, oh, it's not really a big thing, especially if the room that they're living in is their parents' house.
Yeah.
Well, that's another
You
thing.
know.
We didn't actually get any backstory on any of that, so.
Exactly.
we
So,
could
but
only-
I mean, you
but
can
it's
kind
still
of, like,
idealized. Like
Yeah.
they have like 4 monitors each,
yeah,
and they could afford all this food and all these games and blah blah blah.
yeah.
And apparently they can stay up for 5 days in a row or something like that. Once again, very idealized. It romanticizes being a NEET, which is not
Yeah.
good.
No, definitely not. But I think that it's definitely if you're thinking about the original, demographic, which is Japan, where NEETs are definitely a thing.
A problem.
There has to be some anime that is romanticizing this like otherwise looked down upon.
Of course, that's
lifestyle.
why like
a lot of
people,
shows do that.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
become- they
So
end up-
I mean, it's if it's not good, but they know that there's a demographic out there, and then they make it pretty enough to where the people who aren't NEETs can still like it. So
Anyway,
no,
yeah, well, I mean, we didn't really explain the plot of this show. We just said it just follows two neats.
well, yeah, because you said, and then David.
No, I said and David as a joke, calling him a neat.
Also,
Oh.
NEET stands for not employed
Yeah,
or
I got
enrolled
that.
in training. And David has a job, and he's employed in, or he's,
I
and
was
he's enrolled in
making a
training.
joke. Cause,
It's not an employment, education, or training.
I was making a joke
Oh,
about
there we
anime
go.
because all David does is watch anime. A lot.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, either way.
Anyway.
But basically, so they get an email and they answer that they do fucking hate the world, and so then they get transported into this magical land that is ruled by this tiny boy who is a god who has stars for eyes or something, I can't remember. And then everybody has to play games for the laws, which I don't know. I mean, it makes sense in the plot of the show.
Well, no. It was like a god came out because of like war and shit was happening, and then one guy was like, "Why don't we not have all this war and shit?" And then he's like, "We should decide everything by games, so no one has to die all the time."
Exactly.
And
But
then
I'm
the
sure
world
that people
becomes...
still.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you could bet your life, I guess,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
people probably won't agree to that. You have to like agree to the terms. So whoever
Mhm.
you challenge has to agree to whatever terms you set.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
if you say
But-
bet your life, they probably won't bet their life unless
Mhm.
they feel confident.
But so basically, like, I mean, that's, just the basic plot of the show. Now they're in this world and have to play games for literally
super OP.
everything.
They're like
Yeah,
super
they're
OP. Like
ridiculously good.
they're probably not gonna lose ever.
I like the show. I think that the animation and everything is ridiculous looking.
It's
you
by
know.
Madhouse, so the animation's
Yeah.
gonna be
No.
good quality.
That's the opposite. The art is fine, whatever. It's a whole bunch of purples and greens. The
Oranges.
animation itself is below average.
Oh
I
yeah,
like it.
definitely. The animation
it's
itself,
a cheap
like,
Madhouse show.
it's, compared to a lot of other stuff that Madhouse has done, as far as, like, the actual, like, if you took the colors out and just looked at the animation,
Well, they
It's-
probably
it's-
don't have like the biggest budget for this show, but I still like it. I mean, it's.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying
I
that
love
praising its animation is
I mean,
super
but we're not-
colorful shows.
that's not what we're saying. We're just talking about how, like, the animation, as far as, like,
the
the-
art. The art.
okay, the art, whatever, the colors and stuff that they used, it's like,
I feel like that's a Madhouse thing where they go nuts with the colors.
It's not.
Really?
Like,
But
name
only
another Madhouse show
Madhouse
that
does
does that
this.
frequently.
Redline.
Redline, it was a big deal that took, like, oh my goodness. You're comparing Redline to No Game No Life? That's
No, I'm not
basically...
comparing them. I'm just saying they go nuts on colors like this. Like they pick two colors and then they run with it. But I don't know. Whatever.
either way, but
Talking on my
yeah.
ass.
So I mean, I
Of
liked
course
it.
you are.
But I didn't like it for any reasons. Like, I'm not saying that it's, like, amazing. I'm not saying it's, like, the best thing this season or anything like that. I'm just saying I like it because, okay, like, I think the only thing that I don't really like about the show is that Kirito is the main guy.
That's not... Okay.
Because, like, now that I know, I can't stop thinking about it. And so now I just think about, like, older Kirito, like, who has been dumped by Asuna or something,
What-
and, like, adopted some loli off the streets.
I feel bad for
And-
Kirito's
A
voice
really
actor.
bad fanfic. You're
And,
Jesus Christ.
and
leaving
so,
for us.
and
What
so
are you
now he's just,
writing?
like, a neat, and so now I just, like, can't stop thinking about it.
Did you
so,
like make another show within a show?
Yeah. So, but it's not like actually something that I'm mad about. It's just, it's kind of funny.
No, I
that-
think I figured out why I really like this show. Like for just based off the first episode and the premise, because I liked old. This is going like, well, no, I guess it's not too far back, but old Yu-Gi-Oh, where all they did was play games and not the fucking card game.
You mean that thing that lasted for like 7 volumes?
Yeah, the thing like in the manga, he would actually play a game,
But
and
that's
then
the...
he
I
would
feel like
murder
a huge,
people.
I know there's only one episode, but a huge difference between those two shows is that even then, you got all of his thought process. He won because he was the best.
I just like it when, I guess, a manga or anime does like a bunch of like games and it's like creative that way. Like, and they do something crazy to win. I don't care if it's like cheat or just like outthink their opponent. I just like that. I don't know. I like some of the games in old Yu-Gi-Oh. I wish were real. And
Yugi usually won by threatening to kill his opponent. You realize?
not all. Well, I mean, he would trick them. Like he would just use his brain to trick them.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, he flat out murdered like I think a couple people. It was great. I don't know. I just like game anime mangas. It's fun.
So do I.
I just want to see what they're gonna do about the whole cheating thing.
I just want there to be games. That's my only problem.
Well, I mean, it was the first episode. They had to introduce everything.
No, I realize. That's right.
So-
So I haven't said anything.
I hope it's not just like regular games. I hope it's like creative. Like
Yeah.
so like it's not just like so far it's been is fucking MMORPG generic and then chess and then what Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
I hope it's like something.
None of which we saw any of the details for.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? Those are all just basic games.
I mean, they just were like,
Right.
they played the game and then they won. That's it.
Yeah,
They
because
said
he cheated.
they'd be like, let's start the game, and then they would fast forward to the end of the game.
Well, yeah. Well, because
Basically.
they had time. They played like 4 games. They had time restraints.
I don't think they should have played that many games in the first episode, though.
Well, I mean, they had to set it. They had to set it up and then show that there's games being played. So.
But they can say that, but like at least give me a developed version of one of the games.
Well, I mean,
They
okay,
they
we gotta
zoom
wait for
through every
episode 2.
game.
Just wait for episode 2. It comes out tomorrow.
I mean, I'm waiting for episode 2. I'm just saying what I would have liked to see would be them explain some of the games more so instead of just say, let's start a game. Oh, we bet really OP, and now we've won a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, if
Like-
they don't go into detail, like in the next 2 to 3 episodes, then I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I won't like it as much if they don't go more detailed.
Mm-hmm. Like intense shonen card battles.
I mean, that's
No,
why
I want the
It's like the
opposite
whole
of
thing.
that. That's what we got in the first episode.
No, I'm saying like more detailed, like
I don't want this to turn into Yu-Gi-Oh.
play by
I
play.
really don't want this to turn into what Yu-Gi-Oh is. Because
What you
I don't like because it like started off with this cool concept and then it turned into fucking card game. I don't like card game shows. I really don't. I don't understand how you watch Vanguard, David.
Because it does what this show's doing. You remember how you were talking about how you like game shows?
No,
You
but
like-
I like variation. I don't like that it's the same thing over and over and over and over. I prefer when it's like
I think
different
you've
shit.
never actually watched a card game show then.
it's the same card game.
Yu-Gi-Oh definitely does. I mean, okay, that's like saying I don't like sports anime because they only want to play one sport.
No, all they do is put a spin on the actual card game.
No, they don't. Vanguard does the opposite of that. That's why it's great. They play the game.
I mean, I'm speaking specifically Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't watch.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh
Vanguard.
sucks.
You can't really be like, oh,
Vanguard is
I
bad
don't
because I don't
feel
like Yu-Gi-Oh.
What? No, I didn't say Vanguard was bad.
You
I
said
just
I don't understand how you can watch Vanguard because I don't
Okay,
like Yu-Gi-Oh.
explain to me how Vanguard is different.
You just said why it's different. In Yu-Gi-Oh, the only way they can think of to keep things interesting is to take the game and put
Death.
spins on it. In
Death.
Vanguard, they just play the game and keep it interesting by playing the game
That's it.
and having the characters be smart and showing what their plans are and such.
That's
In
boring.
Yu-Gi-Oh, they get lucky and the top card of their deck is always exactly what they need. And then, to keep this interesting, well, now we're fighting for the Shadow Realm. Like, no.
just no.
Hmm.
Oh, and then didn't you like it when they added motorcycles to it and they had
That
to
was
race
actually cool, and I will fight you because you have not watched 5Ds.
it?
5Ds was easily the best season of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Remember when they added a college that you went to a fucking island and then
That
you
wasn't a
studied
college, that was a
card
high school.
games?
And once again, every season, look, people give it a bad rap. Except for Zeal. Zeal's not very good. But 5Ds and
or something.
GX
Yeah.
are much better than original Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically because they only got super ridiculous at the end of each of the seasons. Until then, it was pretty tame, you know. The school idea was a good idea because it gave them a legitimate reason to keep playing the game. They didn't have to make shit up, you know. They're at a school for card games. No wonder they play card games a lot, you know.
I feel like it's kind of weird. Does the world revolve around Vanguard as hard as
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh
In fact,
did?
in the world of Vanguard, there are plenty of other card games. Vanguard's just the one the main characters play.
Okay, so it's not Yu-Gi-Oh crazy. Like everyone fucking lives off that.
No.
Okay, that's more.
Once
realistic.
again, don't talk shit about Vanguard because you don't haven't even watched it. You're
I'm
assuming
not
things
talking
based on
shit about it.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm asking questions. David, are you mad? Also,
I'm
David,
not
it's
mad.
your turn. Segue.
Wait, is it my turn already?
Yep.
Oh, well, okay. Well, the show that everyone's going to watch because of me and my amazing tastes, of course,
Jesus
is
Christ.
Ping Pong.
Fucking step on your pedestal, why don't you?
Anyway. So yes, Ping Pong, which is literally a show about dudes playing ping pong.
Whoa!
Oh man, shocker.
Yeah, right? It's based off this manga from the mid-1990s by Taiyo Matsumoto, who also wrote the very popular Tekken Concrete.
I know that. No, I don't.
I have that movie.
Yeah. So he also wrote Tech on Concrete, which most people know.
I like how we fucking steamrolled right through our bullshit.
It is great.
Yes, it is.
David is master of steamroll.
I know for a fact Calvin has seen Tech on Concrete.
Yeah, no, I love Tech on Concrete, and Tech on Concrete and Ping Pong have they look very similar.
Jen
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
she owned the movie, and then I said, "Oh, I know that show." Wait, no, I don't. And you just kept going.
No, I actually do own that movie.
Wait, you do?
Because I knew you were
Yes.
bullshitting, Dom. Tech on Concrete's a pretty popular thing.
You were the only person.
Then I just don't
that's
believe you
bullshitting.
guys.
Yeah,
Tech
I've
on
seen it.
Concrete's
It's
great.
on Netflix.
What is that about? Concrete.
Oh my gosh, we're not talking about Tech on Concrete right now.
I want to know. I want to know now.
Later.
No, I want to know now.
Okay, so David, tell us more about Ping Pong.
So, same author as Tech on Concrete. And it is directed by Masaki Yuasa, who also directed amazing things like Tatami Galaxy and Mind Game.
Wait,
And
really?
it
Oh.
looks absolutely amazing. Like, there's some repeated animation, which is really unfortunate. But his style always manages to, like, completely replace the idea of, like, fully animating things with being so stylized that you don't even care. Like, the serve of that the Chinese character does is repeated like 3 times, but every single time,
Yeah.
like, I was blown away. Like,
Well, shouldn't it be like exactly the same because it's a repetitive motion?
right, and that's exactly why I think it's completely justified. Like, there's no reason for it to be different because he would serve exactly the same. If he serves differently, then they would animate something different. But there's no reason to waste time or money animating a different serve when he would do the same thing anyway.
Well, I mean,
you know.
that's like Kill la Kill saved a shit ton of money too.
Well, Kill la Kill did that as part of, like,
That was like
Oh,
a
like,
joke, but
in-joke.
they actually saved money though.
of course, yes.
Like transformation sequences are all the same.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Another cool thing about Ping Pong is that Kevin Imerick is working on it, who is also has worked with Yuasa in the past on Kickheart, the kickstarted short
Yes.
about the
Luchador?
wrestler dude.
Yeah. You're right.
And he's working on Ping Pong as an art director, just like he was on Kickheart. And he'd also worked on Space Dandy, episode 9. He did all the backgrounds, and it took him like 6 months to draw the backgrounds. That was the plant episode.
Jesus.
Oh, the plant
that
episode.
holy
Yeah,
shit.
he did
Oh,
all the.
wow.
It's all on his Tumblr too. Like, he's really excited. Kevin Imerick is really excited about working in Japan.
Fuck. That was that was really trippy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Much like all of Kickheart.
I feel like
Yeah, just like all of Kickart,
nuts.
which once again he's also the art director on that. So basically, this team of really talented people are working on one of the most unique things I've seen in a long time. And it made me really happy to watch it because everything else this season just seemed so, oh, this is anime. Yeah, look at these cute girls with the colored hair.
I have a question about the anime though.
What?
Is it like sports or is it slice of life?
Very sports.
It's the first episode so far has been pretty sports.
So it's like professional ping pong, I guess.
No, they're high schoolers. Like,
high
it's
schoolers.
about these high schoolers in Japan, and they're in, like, this big ping pong club, which is also portrayed a lot more realistically, because, like, when they're, like, practicing, it's just a whole bunch of people practicing, and, like, the coach is, like, writing down matchups, you know, and they're just talking to each other about, like, the new kids. You know, there's no, like, big fuss, like, oh, man, it's the freshmen. We gotta go, like, you know, show how powerful they are and
It's
stuff
realistic.
like that.
It's like, hey, fucking freshman,
Exactly.
chill out.
Don't know how to play ping pong.
Yeah.
Speaking of realism, I love the language barrier.
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's a Chinese character, and they don't bullshit. Like, he speaks Chinese. He doesn't know Japanese. He needs a translator, and that actually works for, like, interesting things in the plot sometimes too, because, like, his translator will sometimes, like, lie to the other characters when he's being, like, arrogant or whatever.
Wait,
you
so
know?
is that the main character, or is it just...
No, he's like the main character's rival probably.
Oh, okay.
Do they give the Chinese kid subtitles so we know
Yeah.
what he's actually
Yes, they're
saying?
actually Japanese subtitles and the English subtitles under them.
I haven't actually seen any of the animation. Is it more... what style would you say? Is it more like Chinese style, or is it more Japanese style?
What? It's Japanese. It's definitely Japanese. Like I said, it's like Kickheart or like Space Dandy episode 9.
Okay, so...
You know?
Okay, I was just wondering, because all I've seen is, like, the title card, and it just looks very Chinese-esque. I don't know, that very
I don't-
fine line.
Well, it doesn't fully look like that. You'll see. I also reblogged a picture, a GIF of like his serve, his big serve where they cut it into lots of different parts.
Yeah.
Like the show looks really interesting. I think definitely after this, Dom, go check out. I mean, obviously now you have to go watch all the episodes.
Yep.
But just check out some of the GIFs of it alone, and you'll be like, wow, this show looks
I'll just watch it.
vastly different from everything else that I'll be watching this season. It's a breath of fresh air.
There's so many great, like, even the backgrounds are all absolutely, they all look like individually painted, like, pieces that the characters are moving on, and they're all really beautiful. He also plays around with, like, even the angles a lot. Like, there's, when the main character's friend is playing against the random dude at the dojo, you see a lot of the game from, like, the floor up, which is really awkward but cool looking at the same time.
Especially when the guy, like, hits the ball between his legs.
Yeah.
That was great. Boop!
Boop.
And the noises that the characters make. Oh my gosh. They're awesome.
If I could say only one thing, like my one problem with it is hardly a problem with the show. It's just something I'm sour about with the show. Doesn't have, I guess, that big of a budget. They just don't want to give you us a lot of money because a lot of the opening, like the scenes from the opening, showed up in that same first episode, and they would replay a lot of the scenes. And I understand what you were talking about earlier with if the serve sounds the same, then I mean if the serve looks the same, then they should use the same animation. But I mean, I still do like having new animations and having everything still kind of look different. Like I don't like nobody's gonna stand and make the exact same pose. Like they might even be moved over a little bit or move their arm just a tad bit. But I don't know. I understand why it doesn't look completely. Why like a lot of the scenes are the same and they had to repeat scenes because of the budget. But it's still kind of glaring at times when you.
No, I agree. Especially in the opening, which is actually entirely made up of scenes from the first episode, sped up in various ways.
Wow.
And and in black and white.
Yes, but the ending.
Yeah.
Is
do you have to
entirely
pay for color?
backgrounds. Really nice looking backgrounds, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like for animation? Do you have to pay for color?
Do you have to? What do you mean?
Like, does it cost more for color?
I really doubt it.
Especially when it's something like this where there isn't really any shading and it's just kind of like, I'm not gonna say like bucket fills, but
I mean, that's what basically it is. It's stylized,
yeah.
Just bucket fills.
Yeah, I mean, even the background and stuff like that, like,
Well, I disagree
Everything's
about the
really-
backgrounds. The backgrounds look like paintings.
well, I mean, like some parts of it. Remember,
Like pick any random part and pause.
do you remember when they were panning from inside of the stadium to like outside?
Oh
into the
yeah,
roof?
yeah. That was one of my favorite
Stuff
scenes
like that.
actually.
A stadium.
Well,
Well,
inside the like
gym.
gymnasium that they were
whatever it
playing
is,
in,
I was
and they
like-
do this really cool pan from inside the gym to the roof
Like
of
through the walls.
Yeah, through the walls and stuff, and it looks really cool. And guess what? No CG.
Yep.
So take that, every other anime ever.
How many frames though was it?
Do you want us to count the frames?
Yes, go back and count. No,
I'll do that for you. I'll get that for you next week, though.
don't actually do that, please.
In any case, it looks great.
Well, I mean, you could just like look at it and then you will see. Oh, that was a lot of frames, or
It was.
Oh, that was.
The show looks great. I promise.
Yeah,
Go
it was
watch it.
it was really fluid.
So when
like,
he's like
ridiculously
hitting
fluid.
the ball, it
Well,
just-
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you'll see it connect with the ball. You'll
The
see it
actions
touch-
are not fluid, but they're not fluid on purpose. They're incredibly stylized.
because a lot of Japanese anime goes based on like 3 frames. Like for actions, it's like 3 frames.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually a huge pain for when they're making discs over here,
Mm.
because the frame rate is generally a lot lower than what they're people making discs over here are used to working with, which makes it harder to compress the files. But
Yeah. So yeah, that's just generally the difference between American and Japanese is the frames.
yeah,
Yep.
ping pong.
So yeah, that was us talking about our shows. So, just a quick recap. My show is going to be Gochimon. Ben's show is going to be Kawaiso. Calvin's is going to be Ishikan Friends. Dom's is going to be No Game, No Life.
No game, no life.
And David's going to be Ping Pong the Animation. So those are going to be the shows that we're going to be keeping up with every week, most definitely. Of course, at the beginning of the podcast, we're going to be talking about whatever else we feel like needs to be mentioned as far as any other shows or anything like that. So, yeah, looking forward to that. now we are moving on.
What is what's that big announcement that Adult Swim had?
Oh yeah. So I think that David is better apt of explaining the
Okay,
details
David,
of that.
Go for
Not
it.
many details. Attack on Titan's going to start airing dubbed on Adult Swim in May.
Woo!
At 11:30, it's taking Space Dandy's spot.
Okay with that.
It's starting dubbed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
been
ridiculous.
dubbed. Like, have you not heard the dub for any
No.
of it?
They're dubbing it now. They've dubbed the first half.
Yeah.
The dub's out.
It's not out, but it's coming
No, it's
out.
not out.
They have,
but
like,
they have
commercials,
clips.
don't they?
They have clips.
Previews
Mm,
of
they
it.
have clips from the
of it.
show.
Yeah.
I like it. Some people don't seem to like it, but I think the adults in particular are pretty well voiced. People don't like Hanji, but she's supposed to be crazy, so...
Is anyone, like, big in it? Like, I haven't heard...
The voice actor of Kirito is going to be playing Eren.
Oh wow.
Of course.
Alright.
So, you know.
I wonder
I'm
how
not
he's
surprised
gonna
at all.
react to
Who is
all
that?
his friends dying.
I don't know who it is. It's some dude who works on video games a lot.
Yeah.
I need to look this up.
I can find it for you, though.
Either way, it is a lot of people that are big in
I mean, of
the
course.
American dub scene right now.
Yeah.
Like, people that are in the shows that people are buying dubbed, the big names are all coming together to be an Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan right now is kind of the powerhouse over here in America. Like, it's ridiculous. Everybody who basically kind of even ever, like, stopped watching anime or was, like, looking into getting into anime, or just the casual anime watcher, every single one of those people, at least in almost any conversation that I've been having over even just the past couple weeks with people from all different walks, each person comes up and just says, there's this new show that I've been watching lately. It's called Attack on Titan. Have you heard of it? Everybody's into this show. It's like gotten such mainstream appeal. It's like it's ridiculous. Everybody loves it, and I was honestly kind of angry at first because I was just like, oh man, I'm angry that everybody's watching Attack on Titan, not best show, whatever fucking other shows I'm watching this season. So I was kind of angry at it back then, but a lot of these people that are coming in,
Yeah, it was like getting so hyped.
yeah, like exactly, it was getting overhyped. But I'm really happy about it now because like a lot of these people are saying, whoa, Attack on Titan was amazing. Are there any other shows out there that I should watch next? Is there any? And it's getting a lot of people back into anime, or like getting them into anime in the first place, and it's really starting to push anime back into, or more so into the mainstream over here in America, which is really cool because then that means we get more shows. We get like stuff like Crunchyroll's blowing up right now.
Like stuff like Space Dandy.
Yes, we get Space Dandy. I feel like a lot of these kinds of things are possible because of the shows that have recently been blowing up over here. Like we had people going insane over Sword Art Online, and people
Jeez.
going like fucking rad balls over Attack on Titan. It's just if you're new or just want to watch something that's easy, it's like the first thing that anyone will turn to, and it's really
It's a
kind of
gateway
bringing
drug.
everybody together.
Can anybody think of the like big thing, like 2 or 3 Katsucons ago? Like what was?
Madoka?
Yeah, that's kind of like one of the only other things that I can think of.
But even then, Madoka wasn't as big over here. Like
Yeah.
we have a lot of people that are devoted to Madoka. It's more like a really devoted fan base over here that likes it. But it was weird to. It was still kind of hard to get everybody to watch it because a lot of people,
It's
the
very
people that are watching
specialized.
Attack on Titan, would not want to watch a show even if we're like, oh no, it's a deconstruction of the magical girl genre, and they'll be like, I don't care about the magical genre in the first place.
Yeah,
Or the
exactly.
magical girl genre in the first place, so why would I give a shit? And so a lot of people still weren't watching Madoka. Despite Madoka's big numbers and like Ava's big numbers and stuff like that, Ava got its Blu-ray for the 3rd movie got pushed back over here in America because so many people were going to the movie theaters to see it that they said, shit, we can still make a lot of money off of theater viewings
Yeah.
of Evangelion,
In
so let's
America?
push the Blu-rays and DVDs back again.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was supposed to get the DVD in like February or March or something, and now they don't even have a release date set for it because they're still doing theater releases.
Well. Yeah,
That's
like
ridiculous.
That's so surprising.
like one big thing about Attack on Titan. I mean, my boyfriend is not really into anime whatsoever, and he watched Attack on Titan, and I think he has like a couple episodes left. Like he hasn't finished the whole thing, but he really liked it, and so that's saying a lot when somebody who doesn't even really like anime whatsoever, and only likes super specialized very few things, for him to really like Attack on Titan that much it's, so, I mean, it's kind of like, it's one of those shows. It's just one of those shows, like Cowboy Bebop or something, where it's a show that's accessible to people who don't even really like anime that much. And I think that's a big, driving force. Because it's not, quote, it's anime for people that, have been watching anime and know what anime is, have, like, seen a pretty decent amount of shows and stuff. It's like, okay, it's anime. But it's also something that, if you watch it, it's not like, this is anime. You are watching anime, So, for people that aren't as, like, well-versed in it, I guess,
But now when we look back and we look for some, like, kind of the defining anime of, like, the 2010s and, like, of, like, basically even around this time, like, everybody can be like, oh man, remember the 90s? We had, like, Tenchi and Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that, and, like, everybody talks about, like, the old days
Yeah.
and talks like that. Like, basically that's what we're going to be having pretty soon. Everybody will be like, remember, we had, like, classics like Attack, like, people will be saying Attack on Titan for years and years and years to come. It's,
Probably Sword Art Online as well.
yeah, probably Sword Art Online.
Monica's bigger than Sword Art Online by far.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm happy
Sold
about
out
that.
theaters across the entire United States. Over and
Yeah,
over and over again.
But Sword Art didn't show in the theaters, though.
Don't you think there's, like, a reason? Like, even in Japan, Sword Art Online hasn't gotten a compilation film.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a compilation film is like becoming an adult anime.
Do they show, I know this is, like, kind of off topic, but it reminded me of this, and I actually wanted to ask you this. Do they show, like, anime series in theaters in Japan?
Sometimes they'll show entire show.
Okay, because I was...
That's very rare, and your show has to be really popular for that kind of thing.
Yeah, because I was
And
watching...
usually it's, like, for one night in one theater. They did it for
Yeah.
Tiger and Bunny, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They showed the entire show and then showed the last episode it premiered in a theater.
Wow.
Tiger and Bunny also got compilation. Well, not actually. Tiger and Bunny cheated because its compilation films have new content.
Yeah.
But
But I was thinking, because, like, I was watching Waiting in the Summer, and they... Oh, I'm pretty sure I was watching... Yeah, and they went to see High School of the Dead in the theater, and it, like, confused me. So, anyway, back on topic. So yeah, I mean, that it's, like, a pretty big thing, that I think that after it airs on Adult Swim, even more people it's going to explode, enter its, like, third stage, or whatever stage it would be in right now,
Because a lot of people are still, like, only watching it online, and they're like, oh yeah, I watched this show online, or I watched it at my friend's house and stuff
it's
like
on
that.
Netflix
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's on Netflix, but even people that, like,
But
don't
it's
use...
not dubbed, which
But
is
then it's like,
surprising
oh,
for
I have to
Netflix.
read subtitles.
But now, like, with it
Yeah.
being on Adult Swim, and with Adult Swim pulling in the big numbers because of, like,
Mm-hmm.
Space Dandy and, like, Bleach and, like, all that
Blue
kind of
Exorcist,
stuff, like...
Sword Art Online.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff has been pulling in the big numbers. Toonami's had some of its best ratings that it's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's topping its like, all of its numbers entirely.
Well, just think about this. Space Dandy ended for a break, and now Attack on Titan, and then in the summer, Space Dandy's coming back is just going to be, like, hype overload. Everyone's going to be watching it over the summer.
Toonami can basically do whatever they want, and this is actually really big for Toonami because I remember when Toonami first started up again.
It wasn't that popular, was
yeah,
it?
it had a following.
It was doing well enough to stay on air.
It was doing well enough to stay on air, but, like, when Steve Bloom and other people were talking and, like, doing things for big Toonami interviews and stuff, they were like, we still don't have a lot of money to really be giving you guys a lot of new shows. If we want to give you guys new shows or even be able to get any shows in general, we're gonna need for more people to be watching. Because, like, they didn't have a lot of, like, big, unique, or, like, new shows that they were bringing to the table when Toonami first booted up again. But it was because everybody started watching Toonami and said, okay, I'll support this, that we're getting things like Space Dandy now. Like, when Toonami first started up again, I bet they never could have predicted that they would have gotten Space Dandy. They never in a million years would have thought they would get Attack on Titan. But now they're pulling in the numbers where these kinds of things are possible, and, like, I'm just blown away by this. Like,
Oh, also, Bryce Papenbrook, the guy who voices Kirito and Eren, also voiced Rin Okamura from Blue Exorcist. So basically, he is the voice of the current generation of anime.
Wow, it's like a guy I don't even know is, like...
Every...
So up
in
there.
interviews he's done, you should read his interviews. He's so excited about everything he does.
I mean, I can only assume.
That's good.
He did an interview with ANN like a couple weeks ago, where they asked him about voicing Eren, and he watched like fan subs before the show like even came to America, He loved it already. And when he went to audition, he didn't even think he was good enough to like audition for Aaron, so he was auditioning for Armin and Levi.
Oh, that would have been great too.
And he got the part for Aaron, and like he had to like go to Los Angeles secretly because they were trying to hide who Aaron was for a long time, and they made like the big announcement at a convention recently, and he like can't like he's like always talking about how screaming as Aaron is the most fun and yet painful thing he's ever done. Like he's like, it makes me feel like a metal singer or something. Like he sounds like he's really excited. So
I don't watch a lot of dubs nowadays, but I think I need to watch this when it comes out.
yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably watch it more regularly when Space Dandy comes back because they'll be probably airing at the same time.
Did you say
right.
that he was in Pokemon Origins?
Yeah, he's Red in
Yeah,
Pokemon
he's
Origins.
Red.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope he comes to Otakon.
Yeah, definitely, that'd be
love-
great.
Oh,
I would love
be...
to-
I'd go to get an
Jeez.
autograph.
That would be
He's
amazing.
he's in a couple video games. He's only in one that I actually have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in Dissidia. He's Zidane, which is the guy from Final Fantasy IX with the monkey tail. I don't know. If any of our listeners know who that is, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of you know.
Yeah, I play Final Fantasy.
Is that an anime? But I think it's really weird that, like, hearing Bryce Papenbrook, and I have no idea who this guy is.
He's been doing stuff since '95.
I mean, I know that, sure, but like it's always been all the other big names when I hear people like, oh, this guy's the main character, like this guy's the main character. Oh, we got like he's basically going to be taking over as like the Johnny Youngbosch and the Vic and the.
I think that's cool by itself. Like
Yeah, no, that's what I
New
really like. Is
generation.
they
is
don't
basically
even
get
need
to-
the big voices to get people to watch the shows anymore.
Yeah.
We have new blood, fresh blood.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see. just from like like the
Like a
an
cultural
evolution of
standpoint.
anime kind of thing.
He was the Kappa in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was random.
That's so weird. I don't know.
He had to work his way up.
But yeah, so I mean, I bet everybody's excited. Definitely. I mean,
I'm excited for the future.
yeah, exactly.
anime.
It's the future of anime. I mean, we've got a couple months to Otakon, so I'm sure that it's going to be exploding with
Couple.
all sorts of things. What?
All this mainstream
That's
appeal.
like so far in the future.
Not
Well,
that far in the
it's in
future.
August.
It's so
3 or 4.
It's pretty close.
Oh,
It's like
and if
little over
for
4
anybody
months.
listening to this who doesn't have their Otakon ticket and wants to go to Otakon, they do have a cap this year because they are starting to get like entirely too many people coming to Otakon. So many that they're moving to a new location in 2017 because as Otakon keeps getting bigger, they decided they had to uproot and they're moving to DC. I know that's not a big change because they were in Maryland, now they were in Baltimore, now they're going to be in DC. But that's still kind of a big thing for people that have been going for as many years as like we've been going.
Yeah.
It's going to be a completely new area. It's almost like twice as big or something, I think they said.
Yeah.
And
They're making
It's
because they said they want to make space for the future.
It's not,
Yeah,
it's
like-
not the Verizon Center, is it?
no,
Verizon Center. Yeah, I don't think you could have a convention in the Verizon Center.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no,
It's-
that's more for concerts.
Yes,
Never mind, I'm stupid.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a concert
You know, it'd be
thing.
cool though if they used the Verizon Center for like their TM Revolution style concerts.
Oh.
That
That'd
would be tight.
great.
I would love that.
But they wouldn't do
You mean
that.
homemade Kazaku
You'd have to like
concert?
go. The convention hall and that are kind of far apart.
I mean, that's just life.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty exciting. But I think the cap that they have this year is still
Very
like
reasonable.
like the amount of people that they had last year is less than the cap this year. So,
And then you're guaranteed to get in.
well, not guaranteed because I mean it does grow like a lot each year.
Yeah, it doesn't
With
stop
stuff
growing.
like Attack on Titan and everything, like the Blu-rays will be out
Oh,
by Otakon.
Man,
And
Funimation's
there's
gonna
gonna
push that so hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
It's gonna be pushed really hard. This Otakon is gonna be a big Otakon, and this is I mean, this is like the last 2 Otakons we'll have in Baltimore, Maryland. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of people.
Oh yeah, they're
And-
gonna go all out.
Yeah, so if you want to go to Otakon, you should probably go to Otakon's official website and pre-register right now because it's I think they've already lost the cap where it was $70. I think it's $80 now.
I'll check. Hang on.
Yeah, like
Oh
because
man,
they
I
said the
haven't
first.
gotten my ticket yet.
Me neither.
Yeah, the
did.
first 10,000 got the ticket for for $70. Yeah, $70. And then after that they set the cap at 70 or at 80. God, I'm so backwards. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
All right. Yeah.
sounds pretty great. So the final thing, speaking of conventions,
Yep, they're out of slots for the $70 rate.
oh, so it's $80 now.
Yep.
But speaking of conventions, our very
Damn.
own Dominic went to PAX East this past weekend.
PAX East. It was great.
So if you want to explain what exactly that was.
All right, PAX East. It's the Penny Arcade Expo, started by the guys that made the comic Penny Arcade, and basically they essentially were like, "Yo, we want a cool place for nerds to hang out. What do we do? Let's make a fucking convention." So they did, and it's like a mix between like physical like games, like card games, board games, like D&D and stuff like that. Like there's a tabletop. There's essentially like half the convention hall is just dedicated to just all these tables where you can just sit down and do any tabletop you want. Like there's an entire section for just Magic the Gathering, which is insane, and they have tournaments and stuff all like for 3 days straight. And then it's grown so big that now they have actual like game developers like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft will come. Well, Sony and Nintendo actually didn't come this year because I don't know why. They have all these games they could show off, but they didn't want to come, so they're just like, meh. Microsoft came. They showed off more Kinect bullshit. Yay. And Titanfall. That's been out for a while. But, like, smaller developers came. Like, there's, like, an entire section for indie people. It was really cool. I actually played a cool iPad game. You can actually get it for $1 right now. Or whenever. I don't know whenever this is going to go up. It might end. But it's going to go up to, like, $2. So you might as well spend it. It's called Colliding Forces Game. And you can go to collidingforcesgame.com. I'm pimping this because it's so much fun. And basically, you have 4 elements that you got to get into a goal, and each one does something similar. It's like little pucks that you slide across your iPad. It's pretty fun. Like it's on Android and Apple devices. Not on the tiny ones. It's on the tablets. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just pimping that one out because I had a lot of fun, and those guys were pretty cool. And they also have panels and stuff, like a regular convention. Like, developers will have panels and they will talk about their games a little more. You'll get, like, an in-depth or, like, secret stuff they're hiding from everyone else, and you get to see it first. And let's see what else. Oh, and you get to meet a bunch of, like, YouTubers do show up to this, so you get to see people that you like on YouTube. Like, JonTron showed up randomly on this Saturday. He was just like, oh, cool. I guess I'll go. And, Continue Show was there. Go watch them. They're cool. I love those guys. Fantasy Fiction. And Gerard Khalil. I don't know if Rubber Ross was there, too. I got to meet them. I took selfies with them. And a lot of, like professional gamers come. Like Street Fighter, League of Legends. League of Legends is huge here. Like, there's an entire, like, corner just dedicated to them, and it was just a crowd constantly, and it was insane. And they're just shouting.
Sounds like a fun convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, literally an entire corner just dedicated to League of Legends. There's a constant crowd, so if you go anywhere there, you might drown in a sea of people. Like, literally.
So you had to go pretty far to go to this convention. Do you think it was worth it?
Yes. I took a plane ticket. It's in Boston. Well, this one's PAX East. This one is in Boston, Massachusetts. So it's about 10 hours away from me, but if you get on a plane, it's just an hour, which wasn't too bad. It was pretty quick.
All right.
And there's lots of hotels. Do not stay in the financial district if you go, because everything will be fucking closed. I had to walk 2 miles to find food. Do not stay in the financial district if you can help it. There's buses that will take you to the convention hall. Do not worry about that. They actually just announced there is a PAX South now. It's going to be in Austin. I think it's Austin, Texas? Or somewhere in Texas. Just go to their site. You can find it. They just announced that there will be a South PAX now. It's in Texas. And there's a PAX Prime, which is in the West. It's in Seattle. If you live on the West Coast, you can go to that one. but you have to like pay close attention because those tickets sell out in less than 20 minutes when they go
Wow.
up. Yeah, they get sold out immediately. And there's also one in Australia, which they announced last year. So I guess it would be the second or third one that's going to be in Australia now, since Australia doesn't really have any conventions, and there's actually a few Australian people that go all the way to the East Coast for some reason. I don't know why, but they're like super dedicated and they buy the tickets and go. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I had a blast, and I also beat Jabali, who's a Street Fighter guy, at Dive Kick. I kicked his ass. He beat me round 1, and I came back and beat him round 2. So it's 1-1. Jabali, if you're listening, anytime you want to break the tie, I'm ready to Dive Kick. Also, go buy Dive Kick. That game is awesome. It's crazy. It's just 2 buttons, and you just dive and kick.
Awesome.
Yep. So I guess that's enough pimping out stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alrighty.
yeah.
But yeah.
That pretty much wraps up our time here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You're
so I want to thank everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Been great. Come back same time next week, maybe.
Same time every week.
And don't forget to follow on doshiocast.tumblr.com, and feel free to ask us questions, because nobody has yet.
Also, you
could
can
be the
email.
first.
You can email us at doshiocast@gmail.com. You can do that too if you want, but if you really want to just do it on the Tumblr, you can do that too. And you can also write a comment in the section below on YouTube. We're still working on getting on iTunes. I'll you know
It'll
what?
happen eventually.
Since I'm not gonna edit it anymore, I'll try and help David with that, because I know know more
We've
about
got
that.
our secret tasks of editing.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah,
Well,
all right. Well, thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Yep.
See ya.
Yeah.